Hello. Okay, so this is we're going to start looking at the very first chords we're going to be doing at every time, and it's a very simple chord progression that's going to allow you to just slowly move between the chords and give you an opportunity to play a lot of songs. We're going to start with a very easy format of this. It's going to be just we're going to strum only 3 or 4 strings at a time, like the 3 thin strings here. The key thing whenever you're playing whatever it is you're playing is first and foremost is the beat, and we want to try to strum across the 3 strings or 4 strings or whatever it is. I'll do it with my fingers so it doesn't get too loud over my explanations. And as you can see, I keep strumming at the same tempo all the time. I never change it and I never start going too fast or too slow at any point. You want to work on that, very much like clock. Now you can play it slower than that, like this tempo, like this, or a fast tempo. But notice that whatever tempo I start with is the one I'm going to stay with throughout the whole song. This really depends on how fast the song goes. Different songs have different tempos. And you're going to find your way around. You're going to have to figure out what the tempo of the song and strum accordingly. Okay, so that's regarding tempo. Now let's look. As you can see, practicing this can be very boring very quickly. And the first thing we want to do is start putting some fingers around the neck area to get some chords so we get some cool sounds happening. The first chord we're going to learn is a C chord. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pointer finger and I'm going to put it on the first string, on the second string, not the thinnest one, the second thinnest one. See, not the thinnest one, the second thinnest one. Right behind the first fret. Frets being those metal wires that you see here going across the string up and down. Notice that when I'm pressing, I'm not pressing on the fret. I'm actually bringing my finger right behind the fret. And one thing to watch out is to make sure that you're arching your fingers like this, basically so you don't touch any other strings. What happens, there's your pretty C chord. What happens a lot of times in the beginning, you're going to get things that sound like this. And the reason is because something is not pressing strings all the way, or pressing or touching strings that's not supposed to touch. What I mean by that is, let's take a look at just that second string that we're going to play. If I press the string, if I partially press the string, meaning if I press the string but halfway, I'm going to get this kind of tone, this kind of note. I'm not getting note. I have to make sure I really press the string all the way down. And at the beginning you will get some lines and calluses and it's going to hurt a little bit. One thing you can use is the thumb behind the neck. Really, if you squeeze, and it's hard to see here, but if I really squeeze the strings down, it makes it a lot easier to press the string. Now I get a nice sound. But then I'm playing and I'm getting this. It's like half the chord. This is the problem note. This is the first string, and what happens is that I didn't arch my finger. What that means is that the flesh of my finger, the side of my finger here, maybe you can see it here, is touching the first string a little bit, and as a result it's muting it. So it's really important to bring your finger all the way around, and you get that C chord, to get the chord and get all 3 strings moving. It's important with every chord that you practice, really take your time to get used to holding the guitar and pressing the string. But also you want to press, part of that will just come with time. Your hand has to get used to doing these things. It's not a natural thing for it to do, so you want to get used to the arching your fingers in the beginning. Just let it sound kind of funky and ugly and not work until your hand gets strong enough to handle those strings. Alright, so we have our first chord, which was the C chord. Remember, point your finger on the second string, first fret. And then we're going to add another chord, which is the A minor chord. All we're going to do is we're going to add the middle finger here on the third string, second fret. And we're going to, remember, we're adding it. It's not just putting this finger instead. You have to keep your pointer finger down, add the middle finger, and strum 3 strings. And there's your A minor. So once again, we're going to do a set of C. We're going to strum the C 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, and A minor. 2, 3, 4. Our next chord is going to be F. Technically it's an F major 7, but for our purposes F is a lot shorter to say, so we're not going to get caught up in that. And what I'm adding here is just the ring finger here. I keep the A minor, pointer finger, second string, first fret, middle finger, third string, second fret, and I add the ring finger on the fourth string, third fret. This chord, actually, you might want to actually get that first string muted. Notice, and so let's play that little sequence. We got C, 1, 2, 3, 4, A minor, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, and last but not least is going to be the G chord. Now the G chord, you have your choice. Basically you have to put a finger here. You might want to do it with a pinky, because when you're moving from F to G, you don't have to move any fingers. You can have your pinky, your little finger, ready right above. You see how it's kind of lying around above the string, not touch them. And the second I have to move, it's ready to play the G chord. A couple of things I forgot. First of all, on the F, make sure you strum 4 strings. And on the G, you can strum either 3 or 4, doesn't matter. And you got a little sequence going, so let's put it all together. C, A minor, F, and G. There you have it. Once you add a pick into it, it can sound a lot more jingly and ring it a lot nicer. So we have a little sequence of chords. Notice that I strum every chord 4 times. 4 is a very important number in Western music, and why even that any popular music, most of the music you hear is going to be built around sets of 4 strums, 4 beats. We call it 1 measure or 1 bar. So when I say play 1 measure of C, it means strum C 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 measure of A minor. 1 measure of F, 3, 4, and G. 1, 2, 3. And you can repeat this, and that really gives you about a gazillion different songs that you can use for this. One of the things you may notice is occasionally I make a mistake, and I strum accidentally 4 strings instead of 3, or 3 instead of 4, or something sounds a little funky and it's not coming out purely. Notice how, but despite that, I keep going. You want to keep the music playing, because as long as the music's playing, people can dance, and they enjoy the music, and they enjoy your performance. Notice if I make a mistake, I don't try to fix it. If I strum one chord one time on the C wrong, I'll just strum 3 more and continue with the music. The reason for that is because if you try to fix the music, you're actually ending up falling behind it where you're supposed to be, and then people can't follow it, and then you get lost a little bit. So if I miss the first string, whatever, okay, I'll fix that later. If I missed all four, okay, whatever, I'll fix that next time around I get to the chord. This particular chord sequence is very useful. You want to use it, make sure you can play it smoothly and continuously, because it's actually called ice cream chords. It was very popular in the 50s. A lot of songs in the 50s use this chord progression, and I will get to that more into the later videos. But start with that and work your way up from there, and next I'll show you how to use them in a song.